We are back with yet another ProMode use case. This time, we're going to talk about quarterly financial projections and executive communications. So in this example, we're going to take a quarterly financial report that's been prepared by a CFO, delivered to the CEO, and now it's up to the CEO to distribute this information to all of the key stakeholders. We're going to take a look at how you might change this messaging for vendors, for a board of directors, and also for maybe an internal leadership team. But overall, we're going to be using a report from a CFO on Q3 earnings and future projections, and then talk about how you can use ProMode to translate that raw input data to all of the audiences that need to know about it. Let's take a look. We have our Q3 financial summary report. This has been delivered from the CFO of a made-up consulting group and delivered to the CEO. So let's talk about how the CEO of this company can use this financial report and distribute that to all of the key stakeholders. Process begins by adding our source data into our ProMode portal. So I'm going to add a document. In this case, our source data is going to be the financial report from the CFO. I'm going to extract the details from the document and then add that in here. We have my Q3 financial summary report here. And then I'm going to now convert this financial summary into an AI usable format. So I've gone down here into my research profiles, and I'm going to go ahead and add a research profile. And let's go ahead and give a focus for this. In this case, I want to prepare this for our board of directors. Let's find the document I just added, and now let's generate our entry. All right, we see here that my research profile has come back, and we've extracted all of the key data that I received from our CFO here. I've reviewed this, confirm everything looks accurate, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now, I know that down the line, I'm going to be sharing this with our board of directors, but I also need to provide a summary for our leadership team internally. So now I need a version of this profile that is appropriate for a director level employees to see. So now let's modify this research profile for a different audience. So I'm going to create a variant on the original, and I'm going to go ahead and put a focus text in here, and I'm going to give instructions on how I want to present this data to employees. In this case, what I've done is I want to remove exact revenue figures. So let's say this is like C-suite information only, and I want to create a filter that is appropriate for employees to see. So I'm going to go ahead and create that variant, and I'm also going to use that same document here. So now my variant has been generated. Let's go ahead and look at our original one more time, and we see that we have the type of information that would be appropriate for board of directors to see. And now let's look at the variant that was created. And so we see percentages. We don't see exact revenue, but we see some trends. We see some percentages. And this to me looks like information that would be appropriate for director level employees to see. So let's go ahead and save this one. I also want to create some additional messaging for our vendors. And so I'm going to go to my original and let's create one more variant. And what this is going to demonstrate is how you can take the same source data, and by filtering the source data through all of your other databases inside of ProMode, you can modulate the messaging so that it's ready publicly for very niche audiences, from a board of directors to our vendors. So let's update our focus now to be more appropriate for our vendors. Again, I'm going to select that original document. And let's go ahead and generate a variant. And here we see we have our Q3 consulting performance, the vendor lens. Go ahead and save this. And then we see that I have my board of directors version. I have my version that's appropriate for vendors to see. And then I have my version of this profile that is pertinent to employees. Now let's prepare our communications. I'm going to go over to my overlays. I'm going to add an overlay. My focus, I've put messaging for board of directors on Q3 performance and Q4 Outlook. Other my external source profiles, I'm going to find my research entries. In the dropdown, I have my variants on this. In this instance, I'm going to go ahead and choose our main variant, which is made for our board of directors. I'm going to generate that overlay. Okay. I have my messaging that is ready for our board of directors. I'm going to review this, make any edits, delete anything that I don't want in here. But now I'm going to approve and generate this content. In this instance, I'm going to create an email that's going to go out to my board of directors list in my CRM. All right, this content is now being generated, and now I need to come up with communications for our leadership team. So now we're going to go with the employee-facing version. I'm going to go back over to my overlays, and I am going to edit the overlay that I just created. And in my focus, I'm going to put employee-facing communications, go back down into my external databases. Under research, this time, I'm actually going to select the variant that I created, which is geared towards employees. Let's regenerate that overlay now. All right. We see I've got instructions, negative instructions, and all of my examples. After giving this a thorough review, I'm going to approve this, and I'm going to create one email, and this is going to go out to my director level or vice president level, whatever the case is. So I'm going to generate one email from this one, and we're going to schedule this to go out the week after the communications with our board of directors. Lastly, we have some vendor notifications that we want to go out. So I'm going to go back to this overlay. I'm going to do one more edit to it by changing the focus and choosing the original variant that I created for vendors in my research profiles. All right, I've given this a thorough review, and now I'm going to approve and generate the content. Let's schedule vendor comms to go out the week after our employee comms. And in this instance, not only am I going to create one email that goes out to our vendor list, but I also want to have something on our website. So for vendors, that's our most public-facing version of this Q3 report. So I feel okay with publishing that on our website. And I'm going to publish that page to a specified category where every quarter I publish content related to our performance and our outlook. And let's generate both of those. And here we have our messaging for our board of directors that contains all of the specific financial data that is pertinent to them. And everything that was in the report from our CFO is showing up here, packaged together for communications that would be appropriate for board of directors. So I will go ahead and approve that, and that is good to go out when the schedule date passes. As you can see, we have a team-facing version of the same communications that is set to go out to our leadership team. So I'll go ahead and save that. And now this is approved. This will publish to a list that I have created for everybody that should be receiving this type of communication. And then lastly, we see our vendor-facing version of it, our vendor email that is set to go out, and the content for the web page that will be published directly from ProMode that contains all of the public-facing version of the information from the quarterly report that mirrors the information in the email that will be sent to vendors. Approved and ready to go out on our content calendar. All of our comms for Q3 summary and Q4 outlook ready to go for 3 different audiences in both email and something published onto our website.
LLM architecture for professional communicators.